Oh, hello, and welcome to Bedlam Place. We're here tonight to tell a story about two families and a house they live in. One family lives upstairs, and they are a very notable family. They are the Blackwoods. And another family lives downstairs. They are less notable, less visible, but just as essential to the running of the household. But they may not be as harmonious as the ones that lay above. So tonight we're playing Welcome to we're playing Bedlam Hall in a slightly different setting. We're playing in a English townhouse in the middle of Belgravia, which is an upper class district, just down the road from the Houses of Commons and Lords in London. We are playing under the Gauntlet rules, which means that we will be using the X card. Is everyone aware what the X card is?
Yep.
Brilliant. If we do approach problematic material, which can happen in this game, given the dark tones of Bedlam Hall, then please either message me or hold up an X, and we will, at that point, take a step back, look at what the issue is, and then move on with the game. One thing I would like to ask is there can be quite dark content in Bedlam Hall, so I'd like to ask at the outset, is there anything people don't want me to touch on? Okay. So at which point then I'm going to ask you to go through and actually describe your characters. Given that we're doing this as a one-off session now, we are going to be playing with the secrets known by the players, but not by the characters. So I'd like you to give us a little bit of a background on your character. Let us know what your secret is and the role that you're playing. So we'll go from left to right. So Christine, would you like to start?
Okay. So a rather ravishing beauty, if I do say so myself. But for some reason, completely part of the furniture that nobody notices. Has a tendency to be a little bit of a drama queen. Secrets-wise, well, basically, I am working my way. I started as chambermaid. I have worked my way up to become the lady's maid. There's no secret about that. I have a plan for my future. I'm definitely going to become a housewife someday. However, I happen to be the illegitimate son of the Dowager Duchess's dearly departed husband, which puts a tiny little pin in that plan. Just happens to not be quite... But I will succeed someday. I will. But for the moment, I am, perfectly prim and proper, except for the fact that I keep on looking at the body in the closet and going, oh my God, it's so terribly dressed.
You're muted.
I just realized. So have you had much exposure to the Dowager Countess previously?
Yes, because my family were the lodge. So the lodge keeper would have been my father, but obviously not my blood father. On their grounds, so I would have known her quite a bit. She would possibly recognize me if I was wearing male clothing, but obviously I'm dressed as a maid, and who's going to recognize a man dressed as a woman in the 1920s? It's complete facade.
Okay, so thank you very much, Christine. Now on to you, David. Would you like to tell us a bit about your character and your secret?
Yes, I am Bates, the young dashing valet. The young master met me back when he was at Oxford and hired me into his service during the war, in which I Basically, rather than being military, I served as his man. And then after the service, in which the young master basically saw no real combat, he returned and appears to have picked up some odd proclivities in his time abroad. And he will hear nothing of getting rid of Bates. Bates has been caught in odd balance where the young master is an absolute nightmare. He is a monster, but if I can keep him entertained and in line, I'm just riding this gravy train as long as I can. And my secret is there are certain establishments that are less reputable that pay me a kickback for every time that the young master visits. So I am very if he's going out amongst the town, I am very encouraging of certain places.
Okay, excellent. So are there any places in particular that you and the young master have been recently that you've encouraged him to visit?
I know whenever he is getting especially poor ideas in his head, Mama Sally's brothel is definitely the place to take him to expel some of his humors, so to say. Probably the biggest place, though, that I like to take him is the Rusty Hook. Has a card table in the basement, and the young master is terrible at gambling. So they pay me very, very well every time I bring the young master over.
Okay, thank you very much. So next, on to Stephen.
So I'll be playing Molesworth, who's a harumphing elderly gentleman who has been serving the family for decades and decades at this point. He's the valet of Viscount Vincent Blackwood himself, and has been for many, many years. He knows the comings and goings of the household, and he knows exactly what his master likes. His secret, as I mentioned, he's been serving this family for many years, and for many of those years, his wife was serving the Lady Audrey as her maid. She died in an accident not too long ago, and now Molesworth believes that her ghost haunts the lady's private rooms, so he occasionally goes in to converse with her unbeknownst to anyone else in the house. Okay,
brilliant. So your wife's death, you say that was an accident. What actually happened?
So she died of a head wound, I think, while she was in there. The only other witness was the lady herself. The lady says that she slipped while helping her in the bath, and that's all Molesworth knows.
Okay. So, the room that your wife is haunting, which room was that again, please? Was it the lady's bedroom?
That's Lady Audrey's. It is, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay. So with that in mind, we are going to open the scene. So it's a bright spring morning in London. Outside the window, the sun rises and a blanket of fog lays over the city. The sun comes up, and the city that seemed dead and a hollow husk slowly comes to life. Men come out of their houses to walk to work. Carts start rolling down the street. And the affairs of the house start to fall into order. Invariably, it falls on the maids as the first to wake to get up and actually prepare the household.
Don't worry, I've got the faggots ready.
So, first task of the day is to actually go around doing the fires and preparing preparing them for the ladies and gentlemen as they wake.
Yes. And, obviously as quietly as possible to make sure that I don't wake them inappropriately. So, yes, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
It's part of my daily duties.
So which of the members of the family are you going to go to first?
Lady Audrey first, because she does like the room to be quite warm before she wakes up, and then on to the Viscount, because obviously he's going to rise first. However, he does like it a little bit more brisk, and Captain Richard is usually the next up.
Okay.
Astrid is obviously the next, and Lady Hermione is, she does like to lie in.
Okay. So you go to Lady Audrey's bedroom.
Mm.
As you get there, the door is not fully closed. It is slightly ajar.
Okay. Well, perhaps the gentleman visited her last night and failed to close the door. I'm not one to judge, obviously, so I just proceed as normal.
Okay.
I open the door.
You open the door, and sunlight is coming in through the bedroom window. It casts.
Oh, she's not going to like that. Okay.
There's a thin slitherer coming through the curtains, and it casts a line on the bed. Perfectly pristine bed.
Oh, unslept in.
Unslept in, untouched.
Okay. I look around, really suspicious, but I light the fire anyway, because you know what? If she goes back in and the fire's not lit, it's my job. Okay, so I am just going to light the fire. I am nosy as hell. So I look under the bed.
Okay. The bedpan's under the bed, as is the pisteur. The pisteur hasn't been used either, which is rather unusual.
Huh. Close over the curtains fully, because that was obviously something that should not have happened. The fire is now lit. I am moving swiftly along before somebody catches me being nosy.
Okay, so you move on to his lordship. His lordship is, as you open the door, is still asleep. He's snoring as if he has no care in the world.
Yeah, which is normal, because he doesn't wake up until the fire is lit, as far as I'm aware. He's either very good at pretending to be asleep, or he just is asleep until after the fire is lit. Maybe it's the warmth that wakes him up.
Okay.
He might be a lizard.
As you get close to the bed, you can see that he's actually got a folder laying in his lap that he was obviously reading when he fell asleep.
And what's written on the cover of the folder?
Customs and traditions of the country of Vladistan.
Well, that's rather queer. I light the fire.
Okay. So
do you also just have a quick look underneath the bed, not under the covers? Everything is okay in there, right?
Everything's perfectly fine in there.
All right. Okay.
It's quite clear that he's the only one that slept in this bed. Only half of the bed is actually touched.
Yeah. Well, the lady might be playing away. Anyway, I pick up my basket of twigs and other paraphernalia and tiptoe out of the room, closing the door rather carefully, and moving along.
Okay, you move along to the captain's room. Are you knocking before going in, or?
If I do, and he's asleep, then he'll wake. If I don't, and he's up, then he gets rather handsy, and
So
put my ear to the door. Put my ear to the door.
You can hear something going on. You can hear movement inside, and you can hear what you think is a woman giggling.
He's expecting me to do his room next.
Okay. You can hear movement inside, and.
Would you like me to light the fire, Captain, or should I return later?
Oh, come back later. I'm busy.
Of course.
In fact, send me my man.
Shall do. Yeah, so I wander on down the corridor, and next on my list is Astrid.
Okay, Astrid. You as you go to open the door for Astrid, the handle turns, and it opens, and Astrid's standing right behind the doorway.
Oh, Astrid! Oh, you did give me such a fright. Oh, I'm so. Oh, you scamp! Oh, monster.
Hello. Have you come to play with me?
I've come to light the fire. Would you like to play lighting the fire with me?
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
I was talking to him. She opens the door and basically, come on in. There is no one. There is no one behind you.
Yeah. Oh, Astrid. Oh, Astrid. I'll light the fire for the two of you then, shall I?
Oh, please. He likes it when it's hot.
Of course he does. Just like your brother, eh?
Yes. Yes, he is my brother.
Yes, Astrid. And what is his name, Astrid? I'm terribly sorry for being rude. I know it's not my place to ask any questions.
His name is Pontins.
Okay.
Pontins.
Well, isn't that lovely?
Yes, it is. Would you like a cup of tea? She goes over and sits down in the little chair she's got set up by the fire and takes up a small toy teacup. Tea.
Yep.
Yeah, teapot. And then pours drinks into 3 toy teacups.
Oh, Astrid, dear, you know that your mother doesn't like the staff taking tea with upstairs, so unfortunately I'm going to have to go about my business. But that is very, very kind of you, and I hope to see yourself and Pontus soon.
Pontins.
Yes, dear. Yes. I'm sure your nanny will be up soon.
Oh, don't worry about Nanny. She won't get up for ages.
Of course, dear.
She always snores when she drinks.
That she does. But yes. Anyway, I really should go about my business. Talk to you later. Enjoy your tea. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye. As you go to leave, she stops. Are you leaving?
Yes.
But are you not going to answer Pontin? He said goodbye. Are you not going to acknowledge that? That's very rude.
I thought that my goodbye was to the two of you. I'm terribly sorry. As you know, Mistress, I'm only a downstairs girl, and I'm so sorry. I thought.
Don't worry. I'm sure you're not just a downstairs girl.
Thank you, but well, we both know that that's just simply not true. So let's just. I shall see you both later. Bye bye.
Bye bye. She. As you step out of the door, you go to reach back for the actual door handle itself, and the door just closes.
Bloody strange child. Yeah, so I go and find Bates next because I know that I don't need to light the Lady Hermione's fire for at least an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Bates, whereabouts in the house is your room? Is it up in the loft or is it near the captain's quarters?
I think it's near the captain's quarters. I think actually my room has an entrance that goes into his room. Kind of like a servant's quarters.
Yeah.
Which we use, which is normally how we sneak people in and out of his quarters.
Okay. So
because my room probably is connected to like the servants staircase.
Yeah, that's fine. So Christine, you've been asked to go get Bates. Would you like to describe what you do, please?
I rudely just knock on the door. Bates, your master desires your attention.
Oh, how does he not sleep?
No, he doesn't. Apparently, well, if he does, then he sleeps with a lady present.
Wait.
Perhaps you should help him deal with that once again.
What happened to the other two? Oh, okay.
Good day, sir.
I drag myself out of bed. I was watching over the master until like 4 a.m. last night. I am surprised he is able to be conscious right now. But I put myself together. I fill up I take 3 flasks and I fill them. One of them fill to the top with fine scotch. One fill to the top with gut rot, and one just a little bit in there with some gin, so that he has a little bit of the hair of the dog, but can't drink too much in the morning.
Okay. So you approach his room. Are you knocking before entering, or are you just stepping in?
I do the secret knock so that he knows it's me and he doesn't need to cover up.
Come in.
I come in. Young master, out and about already, I see.
Yes. I feel very refreshed. It was a very good night. Very good night.
Yes. Well, we do not wish for the illness to take too much. I hand him the one with just a little bit of gin in there.
Oh, thank you.
Fresh breath and all of that.
Yes, it's very medicinal, very good. And he'll pick up the other two. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't get the other two flasks. Those are for later.
He's picked up the other two
that he has around. I think to myself, where is he stashing it this time?
Oh, that's so good. Oh, just what I needed. Oh. So, I've been called to go and attend the Colonel tonight at a dinner.
Yes.
So, dress uniforms, household reds, I think.
Very good, very good. I believe the girl got the stains out from the last time.
Yeah, well, she should have. She put them there in the first place. Oh, sorry. Which school are we talking about? There's been so many.
Yes. Well, none of my business in all of that. I go into his closet and pull out the reds. I assume you would like the Medal of Honor as well?
Yes, the military cross.
Yes.
Full honors on display, I think. And I'll also need my sword.
Yes. I believe it was being polished by the stable boy last I checked.
Polished by the stable boy? Oh, sorry, the sword, yes. I misunderstood. Yes, we have stables? Yes. So if you can go and make sure that that's top class, I would appreciate
Yes.
that.
I go to his dresser and take like the various garments that have been discarded on there to find the cross, put it on the chair next to his uniform. Oh, and
can you please at this point roll for me for trying everything in its place plus etiquette, please?
Oh, yes. That is a 13.
Okay. So
oh, wait, I'm sorry. Everything in its place.
Yes.
Etiquette. My mistake. That is a 9.
Okay. At that point, then, you get to ask one of the following questions. Is there something out of place in this room? Has something been added or removed? Who has been in here last? Has there been an incident in this room? Is there another exit to this room? And has someone recently left this room?
So I know that this is pretty standard fare for the room. So I'm going to go with, has something been added or removed from the room? I want to know what the young master might be up to.
Yes, there are. As you look around, as you go to the laundry hamper, you open it up to add the discarded clothes there, and you find a woman's dress and underthings.
I quickly snag it out of the hamper and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. These appear to have been. I will make sure that these are placed in the proper receptacle." By the way, is there? If there is someone that needs a tour of the grounds, just let me know the time that they should be directed around.
Oh, I think she's left.
Fair enough. Oh, and the gentleman from the from last night is expecting
The gentleman? Sorry, who's told you that there was a gentleman last night?
From the Rusty Hook.
Oh.
Yes, he is expecting his winnings at some point. I can run an errand for you later if you would like.
Oh, yes. How much was it?
It was. God, I'm trying to remember what amounts are right now.
It's
What would be
probably
what would be a sizable amount, but not something that he would like blink an eye out at?
3 guineas.
It was 5 guineas.
Oh, okay. Yes, you pass me my boudoir valet.
Very well. I go and open up his boudoir and pull out his wallet.
Yes, take it from there.
Okay.
How much are you actually taking?
6.
Okay.
He only owed 4.
Okay. Yes. I'll have breakfast downstairs with my father, I think.
Of course.
So hurry on.
Yes.
Oh, and pass us that bottle. There's a bottle basically standing there with a hat on it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's his military.
Yes. Very, very good, sir. I pass him the bottle. Jeez, is there some way that he can? Nope. I pass him the bottle.
Oh, thank you. It appears to be empty. I'll get some more later.
Yeah, I will. I will make sure that your coffee is as the Irish would like it.
Oh no, not the Irish. No, I can't be standing with those Catholics. No, not at all. Proper British coffee. British coffee.
Very well. British coffee with. What is your choice of that you would like in there?
Oh, whiskey.
Right. Of course, sir.
Get on it then.
I go. What? And I think to myself, one Irish coffee coming up.
So are you heading back into your quarters, or are you going back out into the hallway?
I would go back through my quarters. And take the servants' entrance, especially so I can basically hide the dress in a sack and dispose of it properly.
Okay. Okay.
Which, by the way, does that count as behind the scenes?
That does, yes. You are helping out behind the scenes.
I am hiding the secret that he had a woman. Okay. Were you looking to have an interaction with me, Molesworth?
Yeah. So I think just to kind of bring my secret in a little bit, if there's a servant access passage anywhere, I think I might bump into you while you're carrying the sack. But I'm coming from Lady Aubrey's or Lady Audrey's room that direction.
Oh, good morning, Molesworth.
Oh, Mr. Bates, fancy seeing you. And he gathers himself and he looks you up and down. You look exhausted.
Well, you know what they say: early to rise, early to serve.
The bags under your eyes are almost larger than the one in your hand. And I want to roll a gentleman's gentleman here.
Okay.
Okay. So 13. So that gives me 3 questions, right?
Yes, that gives you 3 questions from the list.
I want to know where he's recently been.
Well, obviously, I've recently been to the young master's chambers.
And what are you planning to do in the next hour?
What are you in the middle of doing at the moment?
Yes. I am in the middle of depositing this bundle into my chambers before heading down to help make sure the breakfast is to the young master's liking.
And The last one is, what is your current emotional state?
Exhausted.
I was going to say hungover doesn't really class as an emotional state.
Okay. Molesworth looks you up and down, and he brushes imaginary dirt off of your shoulder. Mr. Bates, what's in that bag?
Oh, just a bit of laundry that I need to make sure gets taken care of.
I'm not afraid to say that I do not believe you, Mr. Bates. Let me see what's in the bag. And I think this is a direct to staff roll.
Okay. So at that point then, would you like to actually roll direct the staff with etiquette?
Yeah. So that's another +2. 6 and a 7, so 9 total. What does that do?
They do one of the following directives, but I get to choose something.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So he's telling you to open the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose not to actually open the bag, but it will cost you 1 prestige.
I think I will gain a prestige and do that, and then I'm going to use the one of my moves, if I may suggest.
Okay.
I open up the bag and I'm like, if I may suggest, honestly, the contents of the young master's laundry is really nobody's business but his own. So I think it is best if everyone involved just kind of forgets what the young master needed taken care of.
Okay, so what's the roll on that?
Actually, there's not a roll. Oh wait, if you make a suggestion of a course of action,
and others follow your plan, they roll with something extra when implementing.
Yes.
Okay.
Although I think it would be funnier if it played out like this. So I say. So Molesworth listens to you with this very imperious glare, and he says, "Atrocious behavior, atrocious, Mr. Bates, blaming the young master for your indiscretions. I can't believe you would attempt to cover up your own dalliances by blaming it on such a sterling individual as a war hero. Dispose of this, and I'll not see you with any women again, staying out late in the village." And he strolls on by you and walks away.
Okay. So are you heading towards the master's bedroom?
So I think he's actually going back to Molesworth is going back to his room to compose himself. I think when sorry, I've forgotten your name. Christine. Is her name Christine?
No, that's Christine's name. What's your character name, Christine?
You're muted.
And you're muted, unfortunately.
Still muted.
She's just like the furniture. We can't.
She's that subtle. Okay, well, so when the maid came to Lady Audrey's room, I think that Bates was like locked up and hiding in the bathroom. I think he was actually in there speaking with his wife because he knows that Lady Audrey is frequently out at night for some reason. So he's going back to his quarters to compose himself for the day. Okay. Had Bates looked at him a little closer, he might have noticed that Molesworth also looks exhausted and has also been up for a fair part of the night.
Okay. Christine, is your system working? Are you still muted?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I was muted. Yeah, just keep on going, Christine. Yeah, so, yeah.
Can we just confirm what your character name is, please?
Can you guys see me?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So, yep, I go back downstairs to the kitchen because, in fairness...
Christine, can I just clarify, what's your character's name?
Yeah, I was actually talking with mute on, and I said it's probably easier if we just go with Christine from now on, because I didn't bother giving my character a name.
No worries.
So yeah, Christine, part of the furniture and also the character.
Okay, by all means. Okay, so you're heading downstairs.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the kitchen, and the cook is already made breakfast, and as is normal with the staff, especially the female staff. Sorry, gentlemen, but you know, me being a female and all, we gossip, us ladies, and I have an old chat with the cook. Her name is Magnus. No, sorry, Margaret. Margaret. She's from about 2 towns over now, and she came by having this cook role because her dear departed husband, he was a terrible, terrible drunk. So when he died at the age of 22, she had to fend for herself. So she came around, and she was she's basically treated as one of the family, except of course, obviously she's not, because she's below stairs. So I have a great old chat with her, being not from the area myself either. And yeah, I tell her, oh, the lady wasn't in her bed this morning. Of course, I lit the fire as normal, but do you think anything's up?
Her ladyship wasn't in the bed.
Lady Audrey, she wasn't in bed.
I wonder if she's feeling ill. Oh, I've not heard her going.
Well, if she's feeling ill, would she not be in bed?
Well, I don't know. She has a passing fancy. She used to sleepwalk when she was a child.
Oh.
Mr. Smithers, are you free? And this very quite a young gentleman comes round. He looks like he's the butler for the family, but he's the new butler. The previous one having actually retired about a year earlier. It looks like the suit still doesn't fit him properly, and he's oh yes, I'm free. I'm free. How can I help? Oh, Christine here was telling me that her ladyship is not slept in her bed. Oh, that's rather concerning. Oh, I'd better go up and see what's going on.
You won't say it was me that was saying anything, because that would get me in trouble now, wouldn't it?
No, child, don't worry. I'll just go and see where her ladyship is. She may have spent the night with his lordship. It's rare, but it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
After all, that's how we got the young family. But and Margaret, Mr. Smithers, please. There are ladies present.
Ladies?
Oh, I do forget. Okay, I'll be back in a moment, and he'll put his hand on the balcony, and he's very, very, very camp, and he starts walking up the stairs, and he goes up above stairs. Oh, and the cook leans over. Oh, I'm having all sorts of trouble with the food for tonight.
Anything I can help with?
Oh, I've been asked to actually prepare a meal for a prince. A prince? We're getting royalty here tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, should I press my pinafore?
Oh, yes, best behaviour.
Oh.
Good.
Oh, who else is coming to the dinner?
Oh, we're apparently getting the young master's colonel coming as well. Colonel Smythe. He's quite the dashing gentleman. But he's been all over the world.
Wow. Oh, that is rather exciting.
Yes.
How many are for dinner?
Yes. We'll be having we'll be having the master and the ladyship. There's the young master. Sorry, his lordship, the ladyship, the young master, and Astrid will be safely in bed at the time. I think she's having a tray up in her quarters.
Oh, good.
Hermione, we don't know. We're putting on extra food for her, but I hear tell she didn't come in last night.
Oh. Well, as she's a late riser, I haven't quite lit her fire yet.
Oh,
Well, I was going to, but then, I decided that, well, she usually is about an hour or so after everybody else, so it would just burn out before she woke up. But is the captain bringing anybody, do you know? A lady friend, perhaps?
not that I'm aware of.
No, okay.
As far as I know, he doesn't have any ladies that he sees regularly. He's not been stepping out with anyone. Not that I've been told.
Oh.
Unless you know differently.
No. What would no?
Oh.
I suppose I'm just looking for gossip. I'm terribly sorry, but yeah. So I probably should actually go and light Hermione's fire, and make, just in case her ladyship has, or well, Lady Hermione has actually.
At that point, the bell goes for Lady Audrey's bedroom. Before you do that, take up the breakfast tray.
Oh, yes, of course. Right. Breakfast tray and basket of twigs in order to light fire over elbow. So breakfast tray upstairs.
No. In the dumbwaiter.
Oh, of course. Right. Well, I'm not putting my basket of twigs in that because that's going to the other room. Right. Into the dumbwaiter with the food. Leg it up the stairs before the food gets up. Drop the basket of twigs on the ground.
Okay.
Can't be seen to be doing two jobs at once. Tray with food. Over to door. Knock, knock, knock.
Okay. Come in.
Open door.
Oh, breakfast. I'm famished.
Yes.
And Lady Audrey is here in bed.
Of course she is. I lay down the tray with the food and ensure that everything's okay. Is the fire okay, or would you like me to put some more logs on it?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I hope you had a good night's rest.
Oh, a wonderful night's rest. I slept like the dead.
Yes, indeed. Is there anything else you require?
Yes, my mother will be joining us this week. Can you prepare her quarters?
Your mother? What day is the Dowager Duchess arriving?
She's arriving tonight.
Tonight? Of course. Everything shall be prepared immediately. Exit the room.
Okay. At which point we will then cut to the master bedroom, and in the servants' halls downstairs, the bell goes off for Lord Blackwood. I take it his man is going up to answer the call.
Yeah. So I think Molesworth actually throws down his razor and shaving kit. He's just finished up giving himself a bit of a touch up, buttons his top button, and races up the stairs as quickly as his old joints will take him.
Okay. You get up. You get up there, and as you open the door, the Lord Blackwood is sitting up in bed. Oh, do you have the Times, Molesworth?
No, of course, your lordship. Because I think he did grab some of these on the way up, but they're quite bedraggled due to his haste and a bit damp as well.
He'll hold out his hand for it.
Your lordship, and he presents it to him.
Thank you. So, how have you been keeping, Molesworth?
Well, sir, of course.
Oh, can you believe it? Oh, I don't believe it. And he throws the paper down. Oh, that man will be the death of me.
More problems with the Turks, sir.
Oh, not the Turks. No, blooming foreigners I can deal with. Oh, no. Much more treacherous. The opposition. Oh.
Yes, blast them, sir. Blast the opposition.
Yes, and that Welshman as well. Oh, he'll be the death of me, I swear. I hate him. I hate him so much.
Yes, sir. I've often wished to thrash a Welshman.
It all comes down to Lloyd George, that blooming transvestite.
Yes. And he sort of looks side to side in an effort to escape.
Yeah,
the master's clearly about to go on a rant.
Yes, well, he's trying to unmind me. We have a visitor to the house tonight. How I hate him. How I hate him. I hate him so much. But
a visitor, your lordship. I've not been informed.
Oh, we have Prince Gustav of Vladistan coming tonight. He's over here on a junket for foreign minister for his country. We hope
thoroughly disreputable, sir.
Oh no, he's a good sport. No, they sided with us during the war. Did you know?
Of course, yes, my lord.
And they pretty much stand between us and the commies.
Blasted commies.
Commies. I hate them all. The Welsh are all commies. Oh, I hate him. Lloyd George.
If I mentioned how much I'd like to thrash the Welsh, I believe I did.
Yes. Well, we are hosting him tonight, and it looks like Lloyd George's man is trying to actually get an invite. They're making a big fuss about trade. I'm not going to invite him. No, not at all. Do you have my breakfast?
I was just leaving it in the hallway, sir.
No, good. Bring it in.
He does a smart about face, goes into the hallway, and sprints for the kitchen.
I think when you get down there, Bates is putting the final touches on the young master's breakfast, which the way he adds whiskey to it is he tries to fake the flavor as much as possible and just puts a dash in it so that the young master doesn't drink as much as he thinks he is.
Okay.
So it's like butterscotch and like extra bitters and then just a dash of whiskey. As opposed to the half and half that he usually wants.
Okay, so you go up with the breakfast, you serve it, and all of the upper house actually have the breakfast on their own in their chambers. At which point, Cookie starts laying out for the staff breakfast. Oh, Mr. Molesworth. Mr. Molesworth, do you have a moment? I'd I'm having a bit of trouble with this receipt that I've been given.
How so?
We've been asked to put on some Vladistani dishes, dirty foreigners, for tonight's meal. I'm having a bit of trouble getting some of the ingredients.
I don't see how this is my problem.
Oh, you serve our master? You serve his lordship?
I do, as the senior valet. I believe a junior valet might be better served to, I don't know, run to the town to get more ingredients.
Oh, I would be happy to help out however I can, as long as it does not interfere with the duties. Which ingredients were you having trouble finding?
Well, it's this blood sausage.
Mmm.
Common dish. Ugh. But there's a specific sort that the Vladistani have. From what I understand, there's only one Vladistani butcher in the city.
Let's see. Trying to think of how I. Well, I'll tell you what. If there are a few errands I could do in town for the young master, if you would be, if he oftentimes takes a nap, so if he is indisposed for a while and is not in need for my services, I could possibly stop by the butcher on my way to do those other errands for him.
Oh, could you? That would be so good. And they do a very special variety of red wine. Would you be able to pick that up as well?
Oh, funny is that sounds expensive. I assume that that would come out of the kitchen budget, correct?
Yeah, Smithers is sitting there. How much would it need? Cookie? From what I can see, I'm guessing around about £3. I will give you £3 from the sommelier and the wine cellar budget, but I will need a receipt.
Oh, of course.
And
yeah, no, I think Bates is known for making sure things get done for everyone. Is there anything else anyone needs while I'm in town?
well, if
I believe Mr. Bates should perhaps wash his hands, given some of his activities. Molesworth sort of slides in on the side.
I assure you that that I believe that cleanliness is next to godliness.
As if you know much of God, given your activities.
Well,
now, gentlemen, please. We're all civil here. We're all a family.
Yes, I do not know what you are referring to, but you know, I'm sure your activities this morning have all been very godly. I'm going to go with this sounds like an innuendo. I'm basically hitting that. I saw you coming from the missus's room.
Okay. Do you actually know about? Did you actually see them do that?
We met in the stairways. I was coming from
yes, you
the
did.
young master's room. He was coming from the missus's room and not the master's room.
By all means. So if you want to roll innuendo, then.
Now, what is the secret stat?
Is how many secrets they actually have exposed. So in this case, you're implying a secret. It hasn't. You don't actually know what he's doing in there. You just know that he is going in there. So it's +0 at this point.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 6, but I think I'm going to use that prestige I just got and bring that down, my prestige down to a 2 to make that a 9.
Okay. Wouldn't that make it a 7? It's +1.
I thought it was a. I thought I saw it was a +3.
No, it's up to +3. It's a 1-for-1 basis.
Oh, up to well, 7 or 9 is the same thing. So
okay.
So can be added to a roll in order to prove the result a maximum of 3. Sorry, I misread that. Okay. So I get to choose one. Yeah, I think I'm going to get a little something extra from them.
Okay.
How does that work? Is that like a +2 a die roll?
That means you roll 3 dice and take the 2 best.
Oh, cool. Okay.
When you roll with something extra, you roll 3 dice, take the best. When you roll with something less, you roll 3 dice and take the 2 worst.
Now, the something extra, is it this scene and the next scene, or is it just this scene?
It would be for the next scene.
Okay, so the next time we interact, I get something extra against him.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay, so Christine, you've been there the entire time. What are you doing?
Eating an unwholesome amount of food for a young lady. But you know what? Nobody's taking any notice because this interaction is going on. So I eat all the food that I can because it's not seemly for a young lady to be eating that much food. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. Anyway, once that altercation has finished and Bates walks away, I thank Margaret. Thank you, Margaret. That was a delightful breakfast. I'm just going to go upstairs and light Lady Hermione's fire now. And I race off after Bates. And Bates, is there any chance that you can? I slip him some money and say, is there any chance that you could go into the pharmacy and get me some more powder? I seem to have quite run out, and I'm in need of making sure that I don't shine.
I think I slip the money back. I'm like, I'd be happy to, but if we were, and I don't want to be like too aggressive because I don't want to turn this into Squicky, but I'm definitely like making it clear that I would cover the cost. I'm making a move on Christine is effectively what I'm doing right now.
That is very kind of you. I'm sure that my looking good would be appreciated by the entire household. Thank you. I have to run along and light the fire under Lady Hermione.
I say loud as you're turning. You've lit more than just that fire.
Oh, indeed. I lit 3 this morning. Yeah, subtlety, not my strong point.
Yeah, Bates totally has the hots for Christine.
Okay, so you go upstairs to light to Lady Hermione's fire. You don't knock the door because she's obviously not in. And as you go in, what I would like you to do, can you roll plus etiquette for everything in its place, please?
Okay. 7, 8, 9.
Okay. So you can ask one of the following questions. Is there something out of place in the room? Has something been added or removed? Who was in here last? Has there been an incident in this room? Is there another exit in this room? Has someone recently left this room?
Who was in here last?
You were.
Me?
Yes.
No. Okay.
As you look around, the bed has obviously appears to have been slept in.
It wasn't bloody me. Stop looking at me like that. Why am I talking to myself?
I think we're discovering another secret about Christine.
I just happen to find that sometimes when it's quiet, if I talk to myself, then I don't feel the ghosts of the past are encumbering among my thoughts, especially in different people's rooms. In particular, Lady Audrey's room, because seriously, there's something cuckoo going on in there. Just a feeling. So I talk to myself when I work. Anyway, that's fine.
Okay.
That is once again somebody else not sleeping in their own bed, and you know what? She's probably just going to show up in about an hour when I'm told to bring her breakfast.
As you go to the window to open the window and actually pull back the curtains, you look out on the road and you can see a blue horse-drawn wagon actually coming up the road. With two people hanging on the back foot plate in blue uniforms, with blue pith helmets with a very shiny nipple on the top.
Oh dear. Oh, they look important.
They're
right.
police officers.
Oh dear. Right.
And wagon stops outside the house.
Oh dear. Okay. The fire is lit. I just grab my bundle of sticks and then I go downstairs. I have already covered myself. Everybody knows. Like, I've already talked to Margaret about it, and everybody's okay with what I've done. Everything's fine. Like, there's no reason for anybody to suspect me of anything. Why are you still panicking? Because they always suspect a servant. They always suspect the butler. I'm not the butler. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I'm not the butler. It wasn't the candlesticks in the library. It's fine. Okay. Right.
Okay. As you leave the room and you walk onto the balcony, you can hear the doorbell ring.
Yep. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. That is going to be answered by the butler. That's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Just keep going.
Are you going to the hallway, or are you actually stopping here to listen what's happening?
No. Well, I'm going down the back stairs. So obviously the back stairs have a side entrance to where the hallway is. So I don't go into the hallway, but I am kind of eavesdropping, probably a little bit crass of a word. Just happen to have stopped walking down the stairs.
Okay, so Smithers goes to the front door, and he goes to the door in his cat manner, and he opens it up and he steps back. Oh, detective, how can I help you? I'm afraid we picked her up outside one of the protests. Oh, she'd better come in. And in walks Lady Hermione. She has a tabard on that says "Vote for Women." She is holding the remains of a sign, and she hands her hand back to Smithers and takes off her hat and hands it to him. Oh, thank you. Those cells are so ghastly. And Smithers thanks the police officer and closes the door. Oh,
just at this point, I do run downstairs, get her breakfast, and I'm coming back up. So whatever time that takes, I'm on my way back up with her breakfast.
Okay, Smithers, can you get a bathroom, please? That place is disgusting. I'll never be clean again. And she starts walking up the stairs. And as she walks up, the dress that she's wearing is torn. You can see the actual shoulders come off, and the sleeve is hanging torn at the seam. She looks absolutely terrible. And
so from behind, I just go, "Oh, Lady Hermione, I have your breakfast here for you. Would you like some food before or after you change?"
Oh, yes. Can I she reaches over, picks up a sausage, and starts munching on it. Yes, set it down there and run the bath. We can't let the men get to us. We can't let them do this. Although some of us have got the vote, all of us have got to have the vote. It's not on. And she picks up.
Yes, my lady.
She picks up
all of you should.
She picks up a rasher of bacon and goes into her room. Well, come on. I can't see what you're doing, Christine. I'm sorry, it's too dark.
Taking off her dress.
Okay. And
undoing the laces.
And as you're taking it off, she's eating her breakfast and literally eating it by hand.
I know, with her hands. I think, use a knife and fork. Are we... women are supposed to get the vote. Why would you give the vote to somebody who eats with their hands? This is disgusting.
So she steps out, and as she steps out, can you roll everything in its place, please?
Oh, yes. 3.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything is absolutely fine. And she starts stripping off and goes behind, pulls the screen, and basically starts getting ready for her bath.
Yep. So I make sure the bath is the temperature that she likes it, and she gets into the bath. I put the tray with the rest of her breakfast over the bath, and I also present her with the book that she's currently reading, or newspaper, or whatever she wishes. You know what? It's probably some sort of rag of a newspaper that I just think is disgusting.
It is. It's got Emily Pankhurst on the cover, and it's a highly disreputable thing for a lady of her class, of her station, to be reading this. Oh, this had better not get out.
No, but you know what? That is entirely her prerogative. She's entirely entitled to read whatever she wants to, because she was born the right side of the sheets, unlike the rest of us.
So before we go on to Bates's journey into town, Molesworth, I do apologise, not Hollingsworth. You're called up to the master's study.
Okay, and Molesworth is essentially fuming at this point because he's just been called out in front of the staff by Bates. So he's been sitting and eating very intently while fuming.
Yes, I had not revealed what I saw you doing, though.
Yeah, it's just the implication, and I think he turned bright red and everything. So as soon as he gets the call, he does head up, but he has not forgotten.
As you go into the study, you can see that the master is there, and he looks furious. On his lap, he's got Astrid, and she's crying, and you can see there's a splash of red actually on her dress.
Your lordship.
Molesworth, good man, get over here.
And Molesworth rushes forward, but doesn't quite know what to do. He doesn't know if he's supposed to examine Astrid or check where the blood is coming from or not. So he just sort of hovers over her awkwardly.
Look at that blasted thing on my desk. And as you look down there, you can see that there's a straight blade razor. And the razor does actually have blood on the blade.
Molesworth's eyes dart back and forth between the razor blade, Astrid, and his lordship, and he just freezes in place. Yes, your lordship, I see it.
Well, how did she get her hands on that? It's not mine. Is it Master Richard's?
No, sir. Master Richard would never do such a thing. However, Mr. Bates, I believe, has recently been engaged in unseeming behavior with a variety of ladies of the evening. It must belong to him, or perhaps one of them. I can't imagine who else would have brought such a thing into the house.
Can you roll innuendo, please?
Yeah. So that's...
I mean, it's this time period, a straight razor is commonly what's used to shave.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just pissed off. So 7 total.
Okay. In which case then, yeah, you get the option of the following. You can roll with something extra against them in the next scene. They lose 1 prestige, you cause 1 trauma, or you gain 1 prestige.
I think I'll knock that Bates down a peg. I think they lose 1 prestige.
Oh, you bastard.
This is the game of petty bickering.
Well, take it and get him to explain himself.
Yes, sir, of course. I can't even imagine what was going through his mind to let Lady Astrid touch such a thing.
As you pick it up, you notice that the blade is actually really well made. This isn't something that a normal person of Bates's income would necessarily get hold of.
Okay. So Molesworth does notice that, but he says, "Yes, sir, I believe I've seen him with this before, actually. It's clearly his."
Such a liar.
Okay, so you go on your way. Astrid is screaming, and at this point, we will actually go on Bates's journey into the city.
So basically, I'm also taking the dress with me and returning it to the brothel.
Okay. So you go to the brothel first, then, or go to the butcher's first?
I probably start with the brothel.
Okay.
And the brothel obviously has a cover, so that it looks like legitimate business.
Oh yes, it's a song hall. Obviously, you have the women that get up on stage and sing and dance, and you have the cabaret that goes on there, and
yes. So I call in and I say, yes, I wish, by any chance, did the young master Blackwell leave his lighter here this prior evening?
I don't believe he did. Oh, let me check.
Very well.
She will. The woman at the desk will. Sorry, at the bar, will disappear. The back room. Why, yes, I believe he did.
Ah, excellent. And I basically forget to bring the sack. Bring the sack with me again. It's our way of saying, yeah, you left the person left their finery here, or maybe it wasn't even one of theirs, but I get a kickback for making sure nice dresses make their way back to the brothel.
Oh, okay. Would you like to come behind and collect it?
I'm sorry, you didn't quite catch that.
Would you like? It's in the office back there. Would you like to pick up the lighter?
Yes, excellent.
So you step through, and as you step through, everything changes. What was a rough dance hall in front, you get back there, and there's lace, and there's silk, there's red velvet curtains hanging everywhere, red lights everywhere.
Yes, I believe this is yours now. Whether it was in the past or not, it is yours now.
And what are you handing over?
The sack with the dress in it.
Okay. The woman who is there takes it, opens it up. Oh, darling, this isn't mine.
I hold out my hand. I'm like, does that really matter much?
Oh, I don't think this belongs to any of the girls here.
I assume that it could.
Oh, in fact, it has a name on the collar.
Oh. Interesting.
Claudette. Do we have a Claudette here? Oh, no.
I take out my penknife, cut off the label. I don't see any such label.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll be sure to get it laundered. Before you go, I have something for you. And she steps up to you. And you continue to bring people here. Are you ready for your kickback?
In pounds, not in flesh.
Oh, that's so boring. Are you sure you don't want to play the game?
I have learned long ago.
And she presses herself against you.
I've learned long ago.
And
don't shit where you eat.
And lifts up the hem of her skirt to show her ankle.
Yeah. No, I tell her, darling, I don't shit where I eat.
Oh, such a shame. Such a shame. And she runs her hand over your shoulder and let me go and get your money. And she comes back, goes over, pulls a note out of her body and hands it to you.
Put it in the wallet.
Yeah. Well, be sure to bring them back tonight. We've got something special on.
Tonight might be a little tricky. We'll see. We will see how dinner goes.
We'll be sure to keep a seat for you two.
I nod and make my way out.
Okay. So you've been to the brothel. Where else are you heading?
I believe that there is a debt that needs to be paid.
Oh, indeed. So you're heading to the Rusty Hook?
That's correct.
Okay. So you get, as you come in, the barman standing at the desk, standing at the bar. Hello. Took your time.
Don't get your panties in a bunch.
Where's my money?
I put down the four bills.
That only covers last night. Where's last week's?
I paid you last week, you ingrate.
No, you didn't. You just paid me the principal. You didn't pay the interest.
Yeah, this is not staff, so I am going to roll what is it? Guide their direction.
Okay. And you, I believe, as you're actually looking after the interests of your the person that you valet, I believe you get to roll with something extra. Is that right?
Okay. It's when I guide their direction.
Yes, but your playbook move is in their best interests.
Oh,
you serve very closely with one of the family. Roll for something extra when you attempt to guide their interest.
Yes, this is more likely behind the scenes.
Yes, you're quite
behind
right.
the scene assistance.
I was getting the moves confused.
So that is an 8. So I'm going to say I'm going to drop the prim and proper. I'm like, look here, you bag of shit. I know I ain't no rube, and you're not going to roll me or the family that I serve. We paid you in full last week, and if you have a problem with that, then I guess the young master isn't going to show up anymore, and you're going to lose your gravy train.
You don't talk to me like that, okay? I'm boss here. You don't talk to me like that. But I'm willing to forgive that debt. You live in a big, fancy house, but I know who's master of that house. I know what he does. He works in the Foreign Office, doesn't he?
It is. I do not serve the. Or no, I suppose he does.
Well, I have people who will be very interested in some of the trade documents that go through there. Very interested indeed. I'm willing to forgive the debt in exchange for those documents. I'm using the, because you rolled a partial success, I am using the, they have an errand they'd like you to perform. So, get me those documents. I'll forgive the debt.
I'll see what can be done. Yes, but documents like that are more than just a few pounds worth. That's a big score.
We're not talking about pounds. We're talking about guineas.
I don't know what a guinea is.
Okay. A guinea is the largest denomination at this time scale. I don't even know what a guinea is, and I've lived in the country my entire life.
Like how many pounds are to a guinea?
Well, let's find out. Okay. Okay, apparently it was £1.05. So
not that much more.
No. So I stand corrected. So you want to cut? Is that what you're saying?
I think 20% finder's fee sounds about appropriate.
Yeah, 20%. I'm the one taking the risk. Do you know how hot those documents are?
I'm the one taking the risk. You're asking me to procure them.
I'm asking you to procure them. I'm not asking you to do anything else with them.
20%.
10.
15.
12.
17.
12.
Because you're ugly.
Who are you calling ugly? 10.
15.
13.
I guess we'll be taking our business elsewhere.
Fine. Then I want those 16 guineas now.
Or what?
Or it would be a shame if this got back to your master's colonel. It'd be a bit of a scandal, don't you think? You 13. See, I know. 13.
Shake his hand.
Okay.
By the way, how's Ma doing?
Yeah, she sends her best.
I'm totally related to this guy.
Yeah. Brothers, or is he your father, or is he your uncle? Or
I think he's my cousin.
Okay. She sends her best. Still can't cook roast for spit, but...
Well, that's because you always buy the shittiest meat possible.
Hey, when I have money, I spend it. Money earns. I don't spend it on frippery like you. What's that you wearing? How much that cost? Ew, it smells like shit. You smell like a fancy French Gascon or whatever they're called. Yeah.
And you, sir, smell like the wrong end of a pickle.
Anyway, be about your way. I'm about to open up.
I put a couple of extra shillings on the table. Make sure that Ma gets her medicine.
Thank you. And before you go, He puts down a glass. Well, he puts down 2 glasses and fills it up with whiskey.
We are a terrible family.
So at this point, would you please roll go about the grounds?
5.
Okay. Did you roll? Did you add your fortitude to that?
4.
Okay.
Oh, should I take another prestige for helping protect the master secret?
Yes, by all means.
Okay. I'm not adding that.
Okay. So as you make your way back, you're still going to the butcher's, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you get lost. You can't seem to find the butchers at all. You have the address, but the butcher's business name is all in different language.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the actual address, the directions that you've been given, that the cook gave you, are in this other language as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that they've obviously come from someone at the embassy, but that person obviously didn't speak English. So at that point, we're going to cut back to the household. Holdsworth, you've been asked. Sorry, Holdsworth. I keep on doing that. Molesworth. I do apologise. You've been asked to go and take it up with Bates about this razor. What are you doing? What are you doing in the meantime?
Well, I think because, of course, Molesworth knows that Bates has gone out for a while, Molesworth is actually going to go and take his razor to make sure that there's not a double if someone is suspicious. So he's going to go into Bates's room, and of course he'll go through the back entrance, not through the young master's room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he'll go and try to make the swap, basically.
Okay, in which case then, could you roll me everything in its place, please?
Sure. So I got an 8. What's the modifier on that one?
That's etiquette.
So that's a 10.
Okay. In which case then, you can ask 3 questions out of the list there.
I guess, has something been added or removed? Would that be since the last time I was in here?
You look in there and you don't really see anything that's out of place.
Okay. Who has been in here last?
Bates was the last one in that room.
Okay. I don't mean to extend beyond these questions, but I think what he's really looking for is to see if there's any evidence of women in the room.
Okay. Yes, there is evidence of women in the room. You come across a set of nylon behind one of the bookcases.
Okay. Molesworth holds it up triumphantly and just sort of chuckles to himself. I have you.
Yeah, as you actually look at it, it looks like because these are very, very basic nylons at the start, it actually has a little name tag sewn into the band at the top.
Oh, and what would that say?
Claudette.
Interesting. Okay, so Bates looks side to side and puts this in his jacket pocket, his coat pocket. Takes the nylons, and then he does go and replace the razor.
Okay, so you look for the razor. There is indeed a razor there. It's quite a cheap one as razors go. Okay,
so he'll take that one and put this very expensive, unusual razor in its place.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to do with the room while you're in there?
No. He's going to head back down to his room, and I assume he has some sort of like lockbox or locker or something like that. And he'll very quickly, before he can be caught with this, he'll stow those nylons in that locked place for the appropriate time.
Okay, as you're going about Bates' room, yeah, you hear the door open in the master's room. Bates! Bates! I need my uniform. Damn it, man! Bring me my uniform.
He backs slowly toward the exit into the servants' quarters. Has he been heard? The young master heard him banging around in there?
It sounds like he's directing it in there, so you think he's heard something in there.
Okay, Bates opens the back door with the quickness, as they say, and tries to run out of the back entrance to Bates's room.
Okay. So you open the door, you get out, you close the door, and as you close the door, you hear the door joining Bates's room and the captain's room open. Oh, come on, man! Where the bloody hell are you? Oh, I have to do it myself.
The uniform, of course, was hanging up on his dresser, waiting for him to get dressed.
And as you're walking away, Stephen, you hear a lady's chuckle from Bates's room.
Okay. So Molesworth just shakes his head and harumphs, and then moves off even faster down the corridor to stow his ill-gotten prize.
Okay. So at this point, we will go over to Christine.
Yeah, so obviously with Lady Audrey, I help her get dressed because a lady doesn't dress herself. And I make chit chat. Oh, I hope you had a good evening's sleep. As I tie her into her.
I slept like the dead, not so tight.
No, apologies, mistress. Sorry.
We'll go with the eggshell gown today.
Oh, yes, and so that would be your day gown, but for the evening, would you like me to lay out something more appropriate for tonight's gathering? I understand the Prince Gustav of Vladiskin?
Vladistan.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, have you seen him? Have you met him? Have you heard of him?
No. Oh. I'm below stairs.
I tell you, if I were a younger woman and not married, I've met him briefly at one of the functions. Oh, his eyes, you just stare at them and it's like you lose yourself in them. Oh,
he's rather dashing then, I take it.
He is, as I say, if I were a younger woman and not married, he is the sort of man. He is the sort of man that endangers the soul.
Oh, don't we all dream of those? I mean, yes, and there's the Colonel Smythe, Smith.
Smythe, yes, yes, Dick's colonel. Can't stand the man myself. Can't stand him.
Indeed. Right leg into your bloomers, mistress.
Okay.
And left. There we go.
Oh, stop it! You're like a mother hen.
I do like to make sure that you look rather dashing in your regalia. Anyway,
so she turns round, so she's looking at the mirror and has her back to you. Okay, do me up.
Okay, so I start. And your mother is arriving this evening, the Dowager Duchess.
Yes. She's still in mourning, but hopefully she won't bring the party down.
It's been 27 months now.
Something like that, yes. I lose count, I lose track. She won't give up the black.
Yes, of course. But yes, yes. Obviously,
Christine,
yes.
at this point, you catch a sight of yourself in the mirror, and you notice a slight shadow.
a lacking in my makeup.
Yes.
Oh, why do you think I'm in here? I am here to, perchance, secrete some of the makeup that somebody did not go to the pharmacy to purchase for me.
Hey, it was supposed to be on the way back from from this damn butcher.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyway. I was paying very much attention and you did not go. Anyway, yes. So while I'm there, I'm just kind of collar. Okay, I can't really do the rugby, the collar up.
Yeah.
Obviously now with the new collars, thank you for wearing a Welsh jersey. But yeah, so the old pop the collar idea. Where one just hides as low as one can. Yeah, as I do up the straps, and yeah, I'm in here because I need to steal her bloody makeup.
Okay, so she steps over to the makeup desk and.
Would you like me to powder you for you?
Yes, make it quick. Far too much.
Oh no. Okay, so yeah, and just take your fingers away. No, fingers away. Right, keep them closed. And dab. Right now, perfect. Look in the mirror.
Oh, you're getting better at this.
Yes.
Did you just do your own makeup while you doing hers?
Pretty much. It was like dab.
Okay. Okay. If you leave me now, I think I'll do a bit of reading before we go down for dinner.
Of course. Is there anything else that you need at all? Coffee?
Oh, yes. I understand Astrid cut herself earlier. Could you?
Yes.
Could you see to the dress? Make sure it gets properly laundered.
Yes, I will ensure that it gets washed in cold water in order to ensure the stains come out. Thank you very much. Good evening. I shall see you later.
Very good.
Astrid cut herself. Seriously, why was I not informed about this? I obviously do the laundry. Why did nobody else say this to me?
So, do you go to Astrid's?
Yeah, I go to Astrid's room.
Okay. As you get close, the door opens literally as you reach for the handle.
Mm.
And she's standing right behind the door.
Of course she is.
And she looks incredibly pale.
Hello, Astrid. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm okay. She holds up her hand and her hand's bandaged.
Oh, you hurt your hands. Oh, how did that happen?
Pontin and I had a fight. He's not speaking to me at the moment.
I actually missed that. Sorry. Lag.
Pontins and I had a fight.
Oh no!
He's not speaking to me at the moment. He brought a toy and it cut me.
Oh, well, that is terrible.
It was like a razor like Daddy has. But this one had a silver handle. It had a crest of the House of Pembroke on it. And Christine, at this point, we're going to actually flash back.
Yep.
Your father to your father shaving. And one of the few times he came to visit your mother.
Mm.
And he's there in the mirror, shaving. And the razor. It's one of your recurring memories of your childhood. The razor that he is actually using. And when he leaves, he puts on his trousers, he puts on his coat, and as he leaves the razor behind. And that's been one of the few heirlooms that you've had growing up. In fact, that razor is your razor.
That's why I've got a 5 o'clock shadow. Couldn't find it this morning. Oh.
And we're back in the room.
Well, isn't Pontus just an absolute cad for bringing a toy that hurt you? Oh, you poor little dear.
He's a cad. I'm not speaking to him. He's not speaking to me.
Well,
and she starts crying.
I take her to my bosom, much and all as it is.
Okay. And as she starts crying, you notice that the bed frame starts to shake. And it bangs back into the wall.
Okay.
Just as an aside, like, I don't know if you guys call moves, but is that ignore the strange?
I was just about to say yes.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you called me.
So at this point, I would like you to roll to ignore the strange, please.
Yep. I think. Oh, for goodness sake, 1-1.
Okay, at this point, I would like you to take a point of trauma.
Okay.
As you're squeezing the child to your chest, you squeeze incredibly hard. And, and she basically tries to push herself off you.
Mm.
And as she pushes away, the bandage comes loose on her hand.
Yep.
She leaves a bloody handprint on your uniform.
On me.
Yes.
Oh dear. Well, I guess I'll have to clean my uniform as well as your dress.
She's still in tears. Oh, he's not happy. He says I shouldn't cry.
Well, of course he's right, because a lady of the household should not cry. So you're gonna have to pull yourself together. Be brave, just like your big brother who went to war, and he was very brave and came back without any injuries.
Yes,
Shockingly.
No injuries. We're going to cut the scene at this point. Molesworth, you're in his lordship's study at this point, and he's taken his early afternoon tea, and as he's sitting there going over his papers, you hear a loud bang from upstairs. Oh, what's that? Oh, Molesworth, go and see what that is, please.
Is this from the direction of Astrid's room?
This is from the direction of Astrid's room.
Okay. Yeah, so, again, Molesworth gives a very curt about face. As you'd like, your lordship. And he hurries out the room and runs up toward Lady Astrid's.
Okay. So, as you get up there, you can hear a sobbing child inside.
Okay, with no preamble, Molesworth throws the door open and rushes in to make sure that she's okay.
And you come across the maid with the child clasped to her chest and what appears to be blood on her uniform.
Christine, why I never. And I'd like to do the gentleman's gentleman.
Okay.
So Total of 9.
Okay. So a gentleman's gentleman. Okay, you get to ask one question.
All right. Yeah, have they suffered any recent trauma? I think is probably fair given the blood.
So are you on about Christine or Astrid?
You
Well,
know
you
that
don't care
Astrid.
about the help.
No, you know that Astrid has suffered trauma because you saw the blood earlier.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be concerned with Astrid, like you said. He doesn't care about Christine's state in particular.
Yes.
Yes, she has experienced recent trauma.
Okay.
In fact, as you look at her, there's a bruise on her lower arm that wasn't there earlier.
Okay. So he says, "Christine, step away from her."
Christine, can you hear us?
Nope. I actually didn't hear that. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he just commands, "Christine, step away from her."
Of course, Molesworth. Sorry, I was trying to comfort the child, and things got
What
out
have
of
you
hand.
done to the girl?
I don't know what happened. There was a loud bang, and everything happened. I just don't know. She said that her friend brought something that hurt her on her hand, and Astrid.
She's
Tell them
clearly
what
confused.
Yes.
He kind of pushes Christine back just a bit, just to get her out of the way, and then he rushes to Astrid and says, "Lady Astrid, are you all right? Has she hurt you? How has she hurt you?"
Lady Astrid is a young child, around about 6-7 years old. Oh, she hasn't hurt me. Pontins hit me earlier.
Lady Astrid,
He's a
you're confused.
brute.
You're
He's
just
a
confused.
brute.
How has she hurt you?
What? My hand's bleeding.
And he turns to
my
Christine
hand
and says,
hurts.
"What have you done to her hand?"
I didn't do nothing. It wasn't. The bandage came off. I should put the bandage back on her hand.
"You'll not touch her again." And he grabs the bandages and says, "Now, Lady Astrid, calm down. I've done many of these during my time in the war."
Okay. Can I just ask, would you like to roll innuendo at this point to imply in that Christina's actually hurt the young child?
Yeah, sure. That sounds fun.
Yes, do. You fully believe that I have?
I feel like I'm becoming the bastard of this.
Yeah.
You're totally the villain here.
Yeah, he's a terrible person, as it turns out.
Oh God, you're totally. I don't watch the show that much, but another period, the butler from it, is somehow worse than the family, and you're totally that guy.
Okay, innuendo is with secrets, right? So
That's
I
right.
got a 7 natural, so I guess that's +0, so just a 7.
Yep. So you can choose one at this point.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. No, I'm not gonna be that villainous. I'm not gonna cause trauma. I think they lose 1 prestige.
Okay. So Christine, how many prestige does that put you on?
0.
Okay. So
Yep.
okay, so at this point, we'll go back to the scene. So, oh, she hurt my hand. Oh. Why would you do that?
I know she has. Dear Christine, I need you to leave.
Of course. And I leave.
It'll be all right, Lady Astrid. I'll take care of it. And he sort of calmingly ties this bandage back around her hand. Like I said, I've done many of these during my time in the war. It's just a tickle. It's just a tickle.
Oh, okay, okay. And as you put the bandage on, you tighten it up. And how tight are you putting it? Enough to stop the blood?
Yeah, just enough to stop the blood.
And she winces as you tighten it up. And
That's a tough girl.
And at this point, the chair that was lying up against her desk gets thrown across the room.
Okay.
Can you roll ignore the
He
word?
pauses. Huh? What?
Can you roll ignore the strange, please?
Absolutely. So we got a 10 plus whatever the mod is.
Well, 10 is a full success anyway.
Okay.
It has no effect on you and your person, and you continue forward as planned. You may ask a question about the situation as it unfolds.
Okay. So, yeah, so I think he says, Stephanie, is that you? Don't worry, Stephanie, I'm taking care of the girl, because he thinks it's his wife.
You hear a boom, boom on the door.
Stephanie, don't leave. Don't leave. And he is the door closed?
The door's closed.
Okay, Stephanie, don't leave. And he rushes to the door and leaves Astrid completely on the bed and opens the door and looks both ways outside.
Okay. And as you open the door, you can hear a creaking coming from the floor above as someone walks across the floorboards.
Is that where Lady Aubrey's room is?
No, the next floor up is basically attic space, in a converted bedroom for when the Dowager Countess comes.
Okay, so he turns around and he looks back and says, "Lady Astrid, you're fine. That's a tough girl. That's a tough girl." And he eases back out of the room and shuts the door, and then he runs up to the banging upstairs.
Okay, so
Stephanie.
As you run up, you can see as you get to the actual corridor, you see the door close to the Dowager Countess's room. Just as you get there.
Okay, and he doesn't even pause. Stephanie, you never leave your room. This is the first time. And he just opens the door and walks in.
And there's two of these big, large armback chairs. You know, the ones with the hooded. Basically, they've got deep chairs that go up and basically have hoods over them. That people can sit in them and you can't really see them. And it's up against the fire. And you can see a black laced hand reach out and pick up a cup from the table next to it. Oh, who is that?
Do I recognize that voice?
You don't recognize that voice.
Okay. He walks forward very slowly and says, Stephanie, is that you? Is that you?
Oh no. The cup goes down. Oh, tell my daughter I've arrived. The voice sounds a bit off.
Okay, he's scanning the room from side to side.
Okay. In which case then, can you roll everything in its place plus etiquette?
Yeah. So 9 total, so 11 with the mod.
Okay, you can ask 3 questions.
I'm rolling. This is the best I've ever rolled, by the way.
I think it helps that most of the ones you're rolling are things like etiquette.
Yeah, a lot of. Okay, is something out of place in this room?
Yes, something is out of place. As you look up, you see that there's a dummy that normally has dresses laid out for for the Dowager Countess. The dress appears to be missing.
Okay. Has there been a trouble in this room?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, is the actual question, has there been a trouble in this room? Or
yeah. Yes. I guess you don't have to elaborate on it.
Yes, there has.
Okay. You can already ask that. Who has been in here last?
The Dowager Countess has been in here last.
Okay. Okay, so I think propriety snaps back in, his training snaps back in, and he very stiffly walks forward and says, "Greetings, madam. May I refresh your tea? We were not aware you were here."
Oh, yes. Pour it, please. And she puts it down. So as you lift up the teapot, it's very light. In fact, there's no liquid in it.
He's looking straight ahead and very stiffly attempting to pour, but he does sort of cut his eyes down toward her so he can see. Does she look unusual or unwell?
As you look, you see a woman dressed in black lace. She actually has a black veil on as well over the top. You can't really see much through the veil itself.
What's the proper address for a dowager countess? Is that your ladyship or
Your Grace?
Your Grace? Okay. Your Grace, I believe your teapot is empty. I'll refill it and be back in a tick.
Oh, very good. She picks up the empty cup, lifts up her veil, and puts it back down again. But her entire body is covered in black lace. She's got the long arm-length gloves, so you can see very little of her at all.
He picks up the tea set, obviously, and is about to walk away, but then he thinks for a moment and says, "Are you well, Your Grace?"
Oh, fine. Bring 2 cups, one for me and one for my husband. His lordship likes extra sugar.
Yes, Your Grace. I remember.
And before you go, how is that blackguard of a son-in-law of mine doing?
He's well, of course, Your Grace, as always.
Is he still cheating on his wife?
No, Your Grace, he would never do such a thing. I've never known him to be anything but an excellent husband to her.
Yeah, well, she tells me, she doesn't mean to tell me, but she tells me he cheats on her. It's not like the relationship I have with my husband. We have been together now, what, 60 years?
I suppose nothing answers that that question. There's no other voice in the room?
No other voice in the room.
Okay. Well, I'd certainly not know of any such a thing, Your Grace. His lordship has always slept alone, treated your ladyship with the utmost of respect.
Okay. Can you roll everything in its place, please?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Sorry if you guys can hear my dogs. They're
it's okay.
running around.
My cat's currently sat around here demanding attention, so if I bend down like this, it's me actually stroking it.
Okay, so I got a 6 on that one.
Okay. In which case then, you back out of the room and close the door?
Yeah, and he's rushing to the kitchen to fill the tea pot with actual tea.
Okay. At which point then we will jump to David. David, you have finally found this butcher's.
Oh, took long enough.
The business name is Bloeddrochen.
At this point, I don't care. I just go right in.
Okay. So as you walk in, there's a big fat guy actually standing behind the counter. As you can see, he's got a cleaver up and he's cutting up big chunks of meat. There's several heads of pigs actually on the counter itself, as well as heads of other animals. There's chicken hanging up in here. There's all sorts. And the boards up at the back are all in a language you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. I just give him the shopping list, that has the the wine that we're supposed to get and the meat and everything.
He takes the list, and you can see the colour drain from his face.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who for? Who is this for? He slams it down on the counter.
Why?
His English isn't very good at all.
Yes. For guests.
Which guest? Who?
I take out the money. I take out the money, put it on the counter. For these guests.
This. He crosses himself. His wife comes up. Igor, what is the problem? And she and him start going, and as he shows her the list, she has a.
Can we hurry this up? Can we hurry this up? I'm short on time.
She turns to you, and her English is much better. You want this?
Yes.
You want this? Yes.
In a hurry, please.
Very, very good. And she goes off, and she returns a few minutes later. She puts down a rolled up blood sausage. It's quite a thick one, and she reaches into her chemise, and pulls out her crucifix and puts it down over it. You will need. Takes the money.
Very good. Can you direct me to the nearest? I believe they're called alchemists at this point. Basically, pharmacist.
Yes, chemist.
That's a chemist.
Yes. There is one over there.
Perfect.
Right over the road.
I go quickly to the chemist, pick up the makeup, and then hightail it back to the estate.
Okay. So we'll have you actually come into the estate and go in through the servants' entrance. Christine, where are you at this point in time?
Oh, I do have the wine as well.
Yes.
So I went straight down into the kitchen, and when I left the bedroom of Lady Astrid, I had grabbed the bloodstained, the original bloodstained garment, which, now she's obviously bloodstained everything else. I hightail it down to the kitchen, and I start nattering away with Margaret about how it is such a terrible shame that Lady Astrid seems to have somehow cut herself, and she has this imaginary friend, and isn't it very, very strange? And I don't know what's going on, as I wash the stains out of her dress, and I've also taken off the front part of the pinafore, which is white, and I'm washing that as well.
They'll be held to pay.
Oh, I know.
They'll be held to pay once Bates gets back. Once Bates gets back, and they find out why he was so careless with that razor, and at that point, Bates
did it.
At which point, Bates then walks through the door in this conversation.
Oh, jeez. Oh. The next time we
Bates, what were you thinking?
Mr. Bates, I will have a word with you.
Oh, what about? I've got an.
How dare you be so careless?
Careless?
The poor child, she could have lost her hand.
I'm sorry.
Cut yourself on your razor.
They'll be held to pay.
Fault.
Excuse me, but I use my penknife to shave. I pull it out as an example.
But apparently it's all your fault. The Lady Astrid has hurt herself, and she bled everywhere. And
By the
I
way,
don't know what's going on. And
I totally don't use a penknife to shave, but I know that I'm being framed here. I know when I'm getting rolled.
Yeah. Apparently, everybody's very cross with you, and you left a knife somewhere, and you should just you know what? I'm not entirely sure that everything is going to plan anymore.
Look, I am sure everything will be fine, and this is just a gross misunderstanding.
Well, it is gross, that's for sure, because the Dowager Countess is due this evening, and look at my pinafore. Look at it. There's a handprint of blood of her granddaughter in it.
I put a hand on Christine's shoulder. Please, calm down. If I may suggest, take a moment. Here. Take a moment. Calm down. I'm sure we can find someone to help make sure that everything gets cleaned. When you are so panicked,
I'm the person who helps to make sure that everything gets clean. Cook does the laundry as well as doing the cooking. I'm the one who helps out. I mean, what do you expect me to do? I can't exactly help in my emotional state. I'm very emotional.
Look,
I've got
Christine,
the vapors.
Christine, I'll take care of the clothes. Do not worry.
I might have to go and have a lie down. I'm trying to be strong here.
And Margaret comes in. No, child. Go to your room. Go have a lie down. You shouldn't have to go through this.
And I think if it's all right, I think at this point, Molesworth storms in and says, "The Dowager Countess has arrived. If anyone could take the time from their busy schedules to attend to her. Mr. Bates, perhaps you've returned from your indiscretions. Claudette, is it?"
Well, yes, I have picked up the errands that the household has asked, as well as the the young master's sword. If you'll excuse me, I believe I have some important matters to deal with.
Is the Dowager in your room?
As should you.
Oh, of course.
I am going to go up. Actually, I've got this advantage on Molesworth. You know what? I'm going to confirm a suspicion. I'm going to confirm that Molesworth is trying to frame me.
Okay. So 1 second. In which case, then, can you roll plus persuasion? You get to roll with advantage.
Yep. So that is an 11.
Okay. So at that point, you get the person confirms if the suspicion is true or false.
Yes. So my suspicion is that you are framing me for whatever happened to Astrid. So I think I say, don't you have something better to do than to try to sully my good name?
Okay, at this point, what I'd like you to do is I'd like Stephen to actually mark that as a secret. And David, can you mark that as a secret that you know about Molesworth?
Okay. So I write down that he was framing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you know at this point, David, that he's framing you for this.
Yeah. So you just you confronted him and he said, I think Molesworth says, perhaps in this instance you were not directly responsible, but I know for a fact that you've been responsible for a good many other things in this household.
Well, of course, I am a responsible fellow.
It seems you're responsible for depriving a number of young ladies of their nylons. If you'll wait here just a moment, I believe I do have the proof of this.
I do not need to know about your habits of collecting women's undergarments.
And Molesworth turns bright red and just harumphs and then storms off to his room and collects the nylons from his case, from his lockbox or whatever.
Okay. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll cut to Christine. You've just been told that the Dowager Countess is here. And you,
But who cares?
and you've gone off
and that she's expecting tea. And okay, so no time to shave, no time to get ready, no time to get prim and proper. Okay, I turn the white part of the the schmuck over my uniform inside, the wrong way around. So the handprint is now only barely visible. The wrong way around. And I put that back on. I don't have a second one, come on. Okay. I get the tea, and apparently there's 2 teacups and everything's fine. Okay, right. Could have been at the end to the moon, but instead I got a bus. Right, upstairs. Okay.
So you go up to the attic room.
Her rooms. I've just been informed that she's there. Knock, knock, knock.
Come in.
Okay. And shimmy in. And I have the tray, and I put the teapot.
Yeah, she's sitting next to the fire. The fire isn't lit, but she's leaning out to warm her hands against it.
Would you like me to put some more wood on the fire?
No, it is quite warm enough, honestly. More wood? What do you think we are made of?
Of course.
The extravagance of it, seriously.
Yes, I brought a second teacup. Would you like me to pour?
Yes, please. And for my husband as well.
Rattle, rattle, rattle. Are you looking around? I presume I'm going to have to roll some sort of... Where the hell is he?
Everything in its place?
Yes. Oh, for goodness sake. A 1 and a 2. So no matter what I add to that, everything is completely in its place.
Okay. At this point, I think I'd like you to roll Ignore the Strange as well.
Yes, that makes sense. And Ignore the Strange is...
that is plus Composure.
Oh, wow. 8.
Okay, so on a 7 to 10, you may ask a question about the situation, but you're also distracted, meaning your actions are somewhat compromised and less successful.
Well, I think that my actions are definitely distracted because I am terrified, nervous. I mean, I'm about to meet my father, but he's going to see me in a dress, which is, of course, my natural state. But he also believes his bastard son to be a boy. So has there been trouble in this room?
Yes.
Should have asked what kind of trouble. But yes, okay, so
you're looking around. You bend over to actually pour the cup of tea, and as you look around, as you're pouring, the clock strikes 2 o'clock, and this causes you to jump, and you look around and you pour the tea over her Grace's morning gown. Oh, stupid child!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As she stands up, she knocks the actual teapot out of your hand, and it smashes on the floor.
Oh, I'm so clumsy. I'm so sorry. I take off my smock and start dabbing at her to dry her off.
No, stop it! Get off! She literally pushes you away. Oh, do I know you?
Oh, no, Jess, no, of course you don't. I'll just,
Oh, you look a lot like my son.
No, of course I don't. No, how could I? I'm but a lonely girl. And I use my skirts to pick up the broken pieces of the crockery, keeping my head down as much as I can. I'm so sorry. It's so clumsy of me. We didn't know that you'd arrived, and I'm so terribly clumsy.
Okay, so as you flee the room, the door closes behind you, and as you pause outside, you hear her say, "Oh, just can't get servants today," and a voice says,
Can't get servants either, apparently.
"I agree, my dear. I agree."
She's such an odd woman. Keeps on talking to herself, much like Astrid. I mean, what is wrong with this woman?
that was a male voice that said that.
Oh dear. And I go downstairs and I need to find a new job. I definitely need to find a new position.
So does Christine come back down just in time to see Molesworth waving around a pair of pantyhose?
Yes. But Molesworth also sees me with my skirts lifted up, so you can probably see just below the knee.
Oh, the scandal!
I know.
I think Molesworth actually like pops his eyes over his face and his hand over his eyes and is simultaneously shaking these nylons in his other fist at Bates.
And I respond, Molesworth, have you no shame? Waving around your habit of stealing women's undergarments around the kitchen?
His lordship will see these. His lordship will see these.
I'm rolling innuendo to make Molesworth sound like a complete pervert here.
By all means, you actually have a secret on him as well, so roll +1.
Is this still the same scene, so do I still have advantage?
No, this is a new scene now.
Okay. That is an 8.
Okay. So at that point, you get to choose one. You roll with something extra against them in the next scene. They lose 1 prestige, you cause 1 trauma, or you gain 1 prestige.
Molesworth is totally getting a trauma that he's basically incriminated himself as a pervert by trying to use these pantyhose against me. It's all on him now.
And Margaret, the cook, is looking at him, looks at the pantyhose and is looking at him. Oh, Mr. Molesworth. Oh, say it isn't so.
Wait, so what are you doing to give him the trauma? Like,
basically, you have been chained deep to your core because you're this prim and proper guy, and your zeal to try to prove that I'm a cad has basically made it yourself look, given everyone the impression that you are a pervert.
Okay, I'm gonna go for seen bloody worse. Once per session receiving trauma, I can roll +fortitude. Is that cool?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay. So I got a 9 total with the +2.
Okay, so what does that give you?
With the success, you may ignore the trauma. With a partial success, you may ignore the effect. So what does that actually mean?
Okay. Okay. On a success, you may ignore the trauma. You may. Okay. Basically, whenever you gain trauma, there's certain effects that go along with it. So as you gain more and more trauma, you basically become more and more mad and manic, and trauma 1, you for example, you feel slightly lightheaded, or you might have bad dreams of late, or you're rather distracted, or you feel very tired, or you.
I can see him having nightmares about this.
Yeah, but you're acting as if your trauma is 0, even though you have 1 trauma.
Okay, so he's acting like that. Okay, so I think in response to that, what's the name of the cook that's looking at him like he's crazy now?
Margaret.
I think he takes his hands away from his eyes and says, "Margaret, we've been here for decades. You know that I'm a solid gentleman and would never do such a thing. These are his."
Look, Molesworth. The masters never need to know about your proclivities here. We know that you serve them dutifully. We can just pretend this never happened. Isn't that right, Margaret?
Oh, I wouldn't want to hurt you, Mr. Molesworth, but really, I would have thought better of you.
And I would have thought you would have more trust after all these years. And he throws the nylons at Bates.
Do I see the tag is says Claudette on it?
Yes, you do.
I wrap them. I quickly, very discreetly, wrap them up and hand them to Margaret. It's not proper for me to be touching such a garment, but I think for the sake of Molesworth, you should take it down to the furnace and burn it.
Yeah, yes, I think that's for the best. In fact, she goes over to the wood burning stove that she has. She opens the stove and basically shoves it into the firebox.
And I'm taking a prestige because I'm totally hiding people's secrets here.
Yes. Well done. I have to admit, when I was playing the valet, that was probably my favourite move. Certainly the one that got the most use. Okay, so we'll fast forward a little bit. We go into the late evening. There's an evening meal being set up. So cook's busy in the kitchen and actually preparing everything. As she gets it, you can see that she's cooking and preparing this blood sausage. You can see there's also several other delicacies around. She keeps on going on about bloody foreigners and why can't they cook properly like the French? Totally missing the fact that the French are bloody foreigners and not picking up on it at all. So everyone gets changed for evening meal. Everyone gets into their best uniforms. The valets are actually given livery for tonight, so they get proper footman's uniforms to wear. Can I ask, Bates, did you actually serve in the military while you were out with Richard?
I was with Richard at the war, but I was not in a military post. I was his manservant,
his bagman. Okay.
Yeah. So which he was basically a high-end lord, officer that of course he has this this is war, but it's still civilized. Of course he still has a servant.
Okay. At which point then you're laying out the table. Christine is in fact the butler's Smithers is in the room actually laying out the table with his little sliding rule to make sure everything is set up properly. And there's the front doorbell goes and Smithers goes, "Quick, assemble the staff. That will be the guests."
Of course, yes. Yes. So, direct the staff. Yes. The guests have arrived. I say to Margaret, and I assume everybody else.
There's some other maids and some
Yeah.
footmen as well, and everyone gets brought up into the entry hallway, into the atrium, and his lordship comes out and walks to the door. Smithers, when you're ready. Very good, my lord. And he goes over and he opens the door. And as he opens the door, the mist from the night seeps into the room. And there, standing at the doorway, is a very dark and handsomely dangerous, and dangerously handsome individual. He stands there and hands over his card.
Colonel Smythe?
No, it is actually a foreign gentleman. You can see that he's wearing a military uniform, but he's wearing a foreign military uniform. There are medals all over. But it's a very archaic uniform. It looks to be a dress uniform more than anything else. And at his neck there is a choker with a large gem in it.
Okay.
My name is Prince Gustav. I believe I am expected. Ah, your lordship. So good to see you. Yes, Prince Gustav, please come in, come in. He steps to the door, shakes his hand, and the prince steps in. How was your travels? Oh, they were very good. They were very good. It has been an exceptionally good day. Your railway is very impressive. Yes, yes. Would you care for some coffee before we go through for dinner? Oh, yes, yes, that would be very good. And as he goes by, he basically stops to look at the servants, and his eyes catch yours, Christine. And you know what the mistress was saying earlier about how his eyes are like looking into eternity. You find yourself transfixed. In fact, can you please roll to ignore the strange?
Yep. So I have ignored the strange. Just give me a sec.
That's composure.
When I fail, so it's 6. Yeah.
Okay.
When you fail to ignore the strange, you may use "We're all going to die" as a secret the next time you drop innuendo.
Very good. Okay.
Yep.
It feels like you can feel like there's a connection between you and him. A deep, almost spiritual connection. And in that second, he takes his eyes from you and walks past.
Oh. I'll get the coffee. Yeah.
So they go through to the dining room, and you've got the captain there in his uniform with his polished silver saber, and it does look almost silver. It's so highly polished and shined, and
it's as if it's never seen a drop of blood.
Yes, indeed. And you notice that her ladyship's here, but the Dowager Countess is not. So
she's not down yet.
No, she hasn't come down.
Oh. That's
so
unusual.
Her ladyship gets up and steps over to the prince and takes his hand. Oh, it's so lovely for you to come and join us in our house. So lovely. Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize. Would you care for a drink? Yes, I will have coffee. And he sits down, and they start chatting back and forth. He starts talking about his country, how bringing it out of the Dark Ages, how they're still a very superstitious lot, and given everything that's happened with the communists on the border, it's time to bring it into the 20th century. After all, that is why we fought a war, was it not? Yes, yes. We've got to keep those commies down. Got to keep those commies down. Can't let the Bolsheviks get over here. Even if they are causing trouble amongst the minor races. Minor races. Which races are you on about? Minors, the Welsh. Oh, I hate them so. Pardon? Nothing. I believe that's dinner. And he goes to stand up, holds out his cup, and they get led through to the dining room.
Yeah, so they get led through to the dining room, but I can't remember the butler's name.
Smithers.
At some point, I kind of sidle up to Smithers and say, "Is the Dowager Countess not joining them for dinner?"
She hasn't come down yet. Would you be a dear and run up and get her? Well,
Of
run up and inform her that the guests have arrived. Oh, thank you.
Yes, of course. Okay, right. This time around, we're not going to have imaginary voices in our head now, are we? No, we're not. Okay. Okay. Knock.
Okay, so you knock on the door, and there's a male voice comes from inside. Come in.
Dinner is about to be served. If you would like to come downstairs.
And there's a fellow. He's quite an old fellow. He's very, very pale. Long, bushy beard, and he turns around. Oh, come in, son. Would you care for something to drink?
Familiar to me?
Very familiar to you. Can you roll Ignore the Strange, please?
Yes. My dice hate me. 1 out of 3.
Okay. At this point, I think you're going to freak out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Can you get another point of trauma, and can you absolutely... In fact, no, you're going to faint away, I think.
Okay, yep.
So we will cut downstairs.
Yep.
So you've got the father and the son sitting at the table, and the son's looking over the desk, over the table to an empty chair. Oh, I can't imagine what's keeping Colonel Smith. He should be here by now. Does anyone know where he is? Bates, be so good to go and telephone his house, find out what the delay is.
Very well, sir. I go to the... Is there a servant telephone, or would I have to use the one in the foyer?
There's a telephone in the servants' hall.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go to that, and I will dial up the colonel.
Okay. Ahoy, hoy, hoy.
Hoy, hoy. This is... I am calling on behalf of... I want to make sure I get the title right. Captain Richard Blackbird for Colonel Smythe.
Oh, he is not in at the moment. Can I take a message?
Yes, we are expecting him as company, but he has not arrived yet. Do you know about how long it has been since he has left for the Blackwood Manor?
Oh, he has not left yet. He is not here, but he has not left yet. You're calling for Richard? Oh, how is Dick?
Dick is doing quite well, but Which is it? Is he not there, or has he not left?
Yes. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
Yes, I am here.
Could you do me a favor? Hello?
Perhaps.
Hello. Tell Dick that Claudette says hi.
Very well, but how long until we should expect the Colonel?
Oh, he should be there soon. They should be there soon.
How long should I say the Colonel will be?
Say 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Excellent. I go back into the room, and I whisper into the young master's ear, "The Colonel should be about a half hour. I don't trust this guy."
Oh, he's my colonel. We've been through thick and thin together.
No, I meant I don't trust the guy I spoke to.
Oh, okay.
I don't say, yeah. I'm guessing it's actually more like a half hour,
okay,
not 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I hope he hurries up. I'm so looking forward to spending time with him tonight.
Yes. By the way, the Colonel would also would like to just go over a private matter. If you have about 2 minutes to excuse yourself.
No, by all means.
So can I get the young master to kind of talk in private?
He will stand up and go over to the corner with you.
Yeah. So, young master, as you know, I have served faithfully. It is none of my business, but if you are getting serious with someone and you need me to protect your secrets further, if you let me know what those secrets are, I can do so more effectively.
Oh, what do you mean, Bates?
I show him the tag that I cut off that said Claudette.
Oh, where did that come from?
Oh, no matter. But
I would mention here that Molesworth is edging closer to this conversation.
Yes. I have been assuming that you would like this kept in confidence. So if there is anything else,
it can't get out. Where did you put my dress?
It has been disposed of properly.
Oh, good. I can't have that getting out.
Of course not.
Not with Smythe on the way. No, not at all.
No. So now is obviously not the time, but in the future, if you give me some more details, I can do what is necessary.
Oh, you want more details? Oh, you're a dirty boy, aren't you?
Only as much as the job demands.
Oh, well, I don't make demands, I make requests. And I didn't know you were that way inclined. And he'll step up to you. Should we go outside and have a smoke?
Is he coming on to me?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I'm going to guide his direction. I'm going to say, if you are looking for such a dalliance, I could arrange matters. But me personally, when I give my heart, it belongs to a single person. I'm going to guide their direction.
Okay.
And this is totally in their best interests. He does not want to have a relationship with me. I will take him to the cleaners. Yes, that is a 13.
Okay. Oh. There's a pity. Oh.
But I will find, and if you would like to dabble in those matters, I can certainly arrange for something.
I think I'm fine, thank you. Bates, come with me a moment.
Absolutely.
There's something I want to show you.
I do get a prestige off of that because I did succeed in guiding their direction.
Yeah. How much prestige are you on at the moment?
4.
4. Okay.
So yes, I will go with the young master.
He takes you up and goes up to his room. He reaches into a little locket he has around his chest, opens it up, takes a key out, opens the cupboard, the basically secret cupboard that's behind the bookcase, and it opens up, and it's covered with women's clothing, elaborate dresses, very, very fine garments, very, very well made.
That is quite the collection, sir.
Indeed. All Claudettes.
Can we say that? So Molesworth was kind of listening in earlier. I don't mean to intrude, but is there some way we can say that he's sort of engineered a way to follow them in some way? I mean, he's maybe in the hallway. I don't think he's on the
conversation because it was definitely a whisper.
No. He's just suspicious because they kind of wandered off and he was on the phone and he's decided that Bates is sort of an enemy. So I thought it might be interesting if he was just sort of like tiptoeing down the hall and was sort of nearby as they're doing this.
That sounds fine with me if you're just like keeping an eye on us.
Yeah. If he needs to have engineered something with his lordship, he might have said, for example, like, the Dowager Countess hasn't come down yet. Perhaps the younger valet should go and check on her whereabouts.
So how are you explaining your absence from the dining room table?
Actually, it probably makes more sense if he just says, I'm going to go check on the Dowager Countess's whereabouts if she's not made herself available yet. And then instead he goes and follows Bates.
Okay. So at that point, he goes up, and when the captain leads you into the room, he does close the door and lock the door behind. So all Bates is going to be able to see is actually through the keyhole, which is very appropriate to the setting. So you can see that they actually you can see that there's a false cupboard open, but you can't see what's inside. And he goes, yes, quite the collection, yes, and all Claudettes.
I see. Am I getting that he is actually Claudette, or am I thinking that he has a specific lover that he is obsessed with?
I'm neither confirming or denying either of those theories.
Let's just confirm suspicion.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, and who is this Claudette?
Confirmed suspicion is something that you actually roll. You don't need to. It's
that's how I'm fictionally triggering it.
Okay.
And this is for his own benefit, so 10.
Okay. Oh, she is the most wonderful of debutantes. When she comes out later this year, it will be a sight to behold. It will be a sight to behold.
Did this confirm that the young master is Claudette?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what I would recommend in this situation is an apartment. One where your dalliances with Claudette are far away from prying eyes.
Oh, you want me to leave the house?
Oh, no. The young master is a staple in the house. However, if he sometimes perhaps visits a guest in the country and instead visits his dear friend Claudette.
Oh, we get her an apartment. Oh, that's what we could do. Yes, definitely that we could do.
And then no one is there to know what happens between the young master and his lady friend.
Ew. I don't quite follow.
If the young master goes and visits Claudette's apartment, then no one besides the young master and Claudette will know what has happened in that apartment.
No, I still don't follow.
I'm insinuating that he'll have total privacy, and it will look like he's visiting Claudette.
Yes, and
as opposed to
he doesn't understand.
Okay. You can go to the apartment, and no one would ask any questions.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Oh, we can get some soft furnishings in, some lace, and a four-poster bed. Oh, I've always wanted one of those since I was a little girl.
I'll start making the arrangements next week.
Oh, no, do it tomorrow.
Very good, sir. And I will and I'll let you know what everything will cost as well.
Very good, very good. Now, I'd better get back downstairs. He closes the bookcase cupboard, takes out the key, puts it in his locket.
And I think I just hit 5 prestige, because I'm totally keeping a secret here.
Yes, you have. So you get an advance.
Awesome. How does that work?
You get an advance, then you reset to 1.
Reset to 1? And I don't see advances on the list here.
I'm just having a look. 1 second. Value of prestige.
It's on the, if you look at the playbooks, on the second page of the sheet, it says what advancements do.
There it is. Gain an additional move to your duties.
So while you're making your choices, what we'll do is we'll cut to outside of the actual room. So Molesworth, they're closing up and they're about to come out. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so Molesworth, I think, scurries off as quietly as he possibly can, mole-like, if you will, and heads up toward the attic where he thinks the Dowager Countess is.
Okay, so you head up there. Dowager Countess room. The door is closed.
Okay. Yeah, he knocks on the door. Your Grace.
Come in.
Opens the door.
You open the door and there is a lady sitting in the high-back chair. She's covered in all the black lace, just as she was beforehand.
Is Christine in here?
No, she isn't.
Well, that's troubling. Okay. So he says, Your Grace, dinner is being served downstairs. I believe your guests would appreciate your presence.
She doesn't move.
Your Grace, are you sure you're feeling all right?
She doesn't say anything. In fact, she's not sitting upright. She's sitting slouched. And her hand falls to hang beside the chair.
Okay, he moves forward and he, I think he served in the Boer War, so he actually takes her pulse from her wrist.
Okay, as you take her pulse, the skin's a lot more flexible than you would have thought for a lady of her age. There doesn't seem to be many wrinkles.
Does she have a pulse?
Yes, she does. It's slow. It's almost as if she's sleeping.
Is her skin warm?
It's very warm, yes. And
okay.
quite hairy as well.
Quite hairy?
Yes.
Okay, so he, I think, looks over and looks her in the face. Even she's got a veil on, but
She's got a veil on. Do you lift the veil?
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay, so you lift the veil, and Christine is sitting there in the morning gown.
Passed out.
I would suspect that would maybe cause a roll.
Ignore the strange, or
yeah, I think that's probably an ignore the strange moment. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
So it's a 5 natural. I never remember what ignore the strange is.
It's composure.
So I think I've got a 2. Do I have a 2? I hope I have a 2.
Your composure is 0. So it looks like you've got 5.
Yeah, so 5 total.
Okay, so how do you react? For you do react.
Okay, I think he just stumbles back and like crab walks back up against the wall.
And you hear a voice say, a male voice say, "Why the fright?"
And he glances all over the room to find the source of the voice.
It comes from the window. You notice that the window's open and there's a small little balcony out there.
Okay, he'll, I think, crawl kind of on all fours toward the balcony or toward the window to look out.
Okay, so as you crawl forward, there's a figure standing there with the moon behind him. He's standing there with a glass of whiskey in his hand and his pipe in the other, big bushy beard, and you can see the moon through him.
Okay, is this? I mean, I assume Molesworth probably knows this guy, right? He probably recognizes.
Oh
him.
yes, you recognise the former Viscount of Murder.
What's the proper address for the Viscount?
Your Grace.
Is that you, Your Grace?
Who else would it be? And at that point, we will cut because we've actually got to time. I've really enjoyed this. It was supposed to be run as a 2-session game. I'm actually really wanting to do the second session if people are interested.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think I can do next week.
I should be able to do next week.
If I've got something on my schedule that I'm just not remembering, I'll let you know. But yeah, I would really like to do a second session. I liked the game.
Okay. Same time I can do.
Yeah, I'm certainly up for that. I'm free all next Sunday, so thank you. I've really enjoyed that tonight.
Yeah, thank you for running it so well. I thought you really got the tone of the game across.
One thing I would like to do, if people are up for it, if we have time, is I'd like to do Roses and Thorns.
Okay.
If people are okay doing that.
Yep.
So I will start with Thorns. I'll start with personal thorn. I wasn't really ready to run the game when we started. The computer crashed and I got rid of most of the additional effects that I had planned. I mentioned about a soundboard previously. I did originally plan to actually have sounds running off my tablet in the background, so we could have parlour music, the streets of London, the busy pub, and other things like that, and other noises that people may hear around the house. But even without those special effects, I think the game was okay for that. Christine, do you have any thorns?
Just I think it might be a personal thing. My internet seemed to be slightly intermittent, so there was a little bit of lag. But on your thorn that the music didn't work, I found that in the past to be slightly distracting, especially if something runs a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than you're expecting, and it's an inappropriate kind of thing. So say, for example, you had the background noise of London streets going on when we had cut back to being in the kitchen. Things like that. I prefer it when there's no background music, but that's mine. Like, other people do prefer when there is background music. So
I'll take that into consideration for next week then. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I have a notebook full of notes for next week, so I'm happy.
Brilliant. David, on to you next. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, this is something that's a little bit just weird for me to like knowing with this is sometimes I felt a little bit odd of where player agency begins and ends. And I think that might be because we're playing a setting where the characters don't have much agency. But you know, there were like little times of like, wait, do I have control over what's going on here or don't? Do I get to define this element of the story or not? So there's a little bit of for me there was a little bit of a disconnect of when I can add in detail and when I can't.
Okay. Well, I have no problem with people adding in detail for the most part. Certainly the detail on the cook was entirely different from what I planned, but given that Christine had raised it, we just went along and ran with it. So there was originally going to be some other things coming there, but given Christine set the scene, I ran with that, and certainly I have no problem doing that in future.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything like specifically that you did. It was just, you know, with the setting, I sometimes felt unsure of whether I should jump in with detail or not.
If it's something that you want to try in future, by all means. If it's something that you believe will add to the scene, by all means, please raise it with us, and then we can take that on. This is a narrative game, and if you have something you think can add, then please do so. Okay.
That was my thorn.
Okay. And Stephen, do you have any thorns you'd like to raise?
Yeah, I think this is not a critique of your GMing. I think it's just the way this game might work. It seemed like there were a lot of instances where individuals would have like one long scene kind of to themselves almost. And I think that's because we all kind of are not necessarily cooperating and we're all kind of pursuing our own objectives and whatnot. But I guess that's just something a little different with this game, since the players are a bit more at each other's throats than in other PBTAs, where you can do more scenes together. But I don't know, just in terms of keeping the interaction, I guess, it seems like this game doesn't tie the characters together in scenes as much as other games do. So,
no, I'd agree with that for the most part. I think that's partially down to how I actually framed the scenes, and it's something I may need to consider for next week. But given where we are at the moment, I think we've got a good basis to actually have people come together in a lot more situations going forward. Part of the difficulty with Bedlam Hall is each character has a distinct role, and unless it's something like the housekeeper or the butler, that role will generally take them off in a separate direction from the other characters.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something to consider for the actual game itself. Okay, so with that said, Roses, I love all your characters. I absolutely love all your characters, all the interactions, how vicious and petty it's actually getting, and the way things are going forward. This is the thing I love about role-playing, is actually seeing what people come up with and how the characters react and the stories that come out of it, and I've really enjoyed tonight. So, Christine.
Yep.
Roses?
I really liked actually the fact that, because I play with Donna McCarthy a fair bit, and if a character is introduced, he just basically expects you to introduce the character, which is why I went with the cook, and her name is Margaret, and I gave her a background, and then just decided that I kind of thought about 30 seconds after I started it hang on, this isn't a Donna McCarthy game, so maybe this isn't okay. But I really appreciated that you ran with it. I really like the rivalry between you two guys. The valet versus the valet. At dawn, there was going to be a gun-slinging, but then they realized they were valets, so, they had to, dawn wasn't going to work. So, yeah, it was brilliant. It's so much fun. I've had a lot of fun seeing it. Thank you.
Brilliant. So, David, do you have any roses for tonight?
I think the characters, both NPC and PC, were really, really in depth. Like the constantly complaining father about like random foreigners. God, the young master is just as much of a nightmare in completely unexpected ways. Holy crap! Everyone's everyone's cross-dressing. The rivalry between Molesworth and Bates, where Bates doesn't even like have any problem against Molesworth, except Molesworth is constantly trying to deal with him. So, like debate, like it's kind of like what's Molesworth going to do? Okay, let's flip this around and use that to torture Molesworth until he learns his damn lesson, sort of thing. Nice job on the. I'm trying to frame me with the razor, by the way. That was really mean. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to Bates trying to, hit on Christine a bit more and seeing how Christine responds and see how Bates responds to finding out your secret, because he might still be in love. I'm not sure.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, Stephen, over to you. Do you have any roses?
Yeah, well, like everyone already mentioned, I think the role playing was just great. Like you guys both just hit it perfectly. Your characters were really in depth. I really liked Christine's like talking to herself, and you kind of gave it this air of like neurotic fear that was really, really cool. I think played into the tone really well and got the tone across really well of like the weird stuff going on. So that was really cool to see. The rivalry is a lot of fun. I found that I always play like these like noble, knight kind of characters and stuff in games. So it's fun to be the bad guy. That was really cool. And yeah, the GMing was just great. Like the number of characters you're playing and giving a lot of depth to all at the same time. And that you're like rolling with all these different things that we're introducing. Like, you've got a lot going on in your head and you're handling it really well. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, just a shocking amount of depth for the number of characters you're playing, I think.
Well, thank you very much. As I said, I've really enjoyed tonight. This has been a standout session for me. As for the game itself, I love Bedlam Hall. I've only played it once. This is my first time running it, but I'm a huge fan of the actual genre. Both the Addams Family and the upstairs, downstairs style nature of the game. So yeah, this has been an awful lot of fun, and I'd like to thank you all. So with that said, I think I'm going to finish the broadcast now. Thank you. I hope we haven't overrun too long for, tonight, but hopefully I will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
See you guys.